everybody. All one of me because it hasn't populated yet. But I'm happy to be here this morning, and I'm happy to get going on another day. There's a couple people, Jane, Jeffrey. Good to see you guys. Thank you for being here. We'll see who shows up. These morning chats, I'm starting to like them. It really helps me. Just kind of, I'm looking for some scrap paper in case I need to, jot down some ideas. I got this little passport. That's kind of weird. I'll write on this. It's like a fake passport. But I did my talk today. I want to do MJ. Good to see you. I called it my 5-point plan for elevating progressives who will fight for us. And I confess I don't really have a 5-point plan. I thought hi Robert, that was just my title. But I'll tell you what the genesis of this is. Yesterday, I discovered this morning. I gotta get ahead of myself. Oh, and MJ, yes, MJ had actually asked me, how can I help? And so MJ was one of the people who kind of responded to me. Kind of started on Sunday. I was getting a little bit punchy, I realized. And sometimes I realize I'm punchy because I'm expecting the whole world to understand something, even though I haven't really explained it yet. I guess that's fair enough. And it's just becoming more and more clear to me what we need to do to get forward. We just need to completely transform our government. And we just have to accept that Democrats aren't working for us. We need a new generation of Democrats in there. We need a new generation of leaders with a new philosophy of leadership. That's what we need. Just plain and simple. Millicent, good to see you. Beautiful name. Millicent. And so I've been like, for the last couple months, this has been formulating, this idea. For the last couple months, I've been interviewing all these candidates. I've been getting to know them. Over the last 2 weeks since I interviewed Citizens Impeachment, all these courage candidates are reaching out to me. It's been wonderful. It's been overwhelming, and it's making me realize I can't do this by myself. Hi, Mama Kay. Hi, Michelle. It's making me realize I can't do this by myself. I need your help. I just need your help. But how does that help look? And so I was just like, why isn't anybody helping me? I started getting mad, and then I was like, well, I haven't sat down and even thought what help looks like, because I wrote a little post yesterday saying, it's just like, we really need more creators interviewing these progressives. I'm like, I don't think we're going to win unless we do that. I mean, we have new media, old media. It censors, it suppresses grassroots voices that would actually work for the people in favor of corruption. When people sit there and say all our politicians are corrupt, they act as if that's an internal thing that can't be changed. And yes, that has been the standard, but we don't have to live like that. We don't have to have that. And because we have new media and we have all these new tools, we can talk to each other, we can organize, we can bring up these new candidates. That's what we're working on. That's what we're going to do. We're going to put the old candidates aside. We're not going to allow for corruption anymore. We're not going to just submit to the cruel patriarch as the symbol of authority and leadership. We don't have to do that. And we have to be deliberate. We have to shake off all of our conditioning and programming, and we have to seize control of our government. And yesterday, hi Chris, hi Helen, hi Yanni, hi that's a pretty name. Pamiam, Julian. And apologies. I always try to pronounce these correctly, and that I love seeing these beautiful names. So anyway, yesterday, so I wrote something like that, like, hi Chris, I don't think we're gonna do this unless people help. And my good friend Will Fullwood and I was just thinking, I need to just write a post thanking him for all that he's helped me in the last 2 years. We've done a lot of talks on race. He's been a great mentor. Great day in the morning, Helen says. Liberty Guardian, good to see you. And he just wrote me a message. He sent me a message on what's it called? The Signal. And he said, what can I do? I saw that, and it was just clear. It was really a sweet message to get. It was like a 1-minute message, and it was clear that he'd read my, 500. It wasn't that many. He'd read my 100-character post, and he knows me well enough to know what I'm kind of fretting and I'm kind of stressing. And he read it all in just a couple words, and he's just like, "Hey, what can I do to help? What are you thinking?" And so I thought I wanted to take a few moments this morning and just brainstorm what I'm talking about. And number one, what I want to say and what became clear, I had such wonderful conversations yesterday. Really, really good conversations. I think you probably have seen the last one I did with Ellie Leonard, and This Will Hold. We were just talking about election integrity. And astonishingly, this morning, I saw this post, maybe it was last night, but Nancy Pelosi actually finally came out and said, yeah, we got to be on the lookout for them. Hi, American citizen. Good to see you. I'm just about to talk about our talk yesterday. So Nancy Pelosi just said, yeah, we got to look out for election rigging. And that's sort of like, finally, the establishment is getting on board with this. We didn't need their permission, but it's going to make things a little bit easier now that we've had Nancy Pelosi saying that. And hit those hearts if you can. Those get me all riled up and happy to talk. If you have a moment to hit the hearts, I just like seeing them over in the corner. That gets me. It's weird how that works. It helps my creativity. I see them, and there they go. Thank you, everybody. So Nancy Pelosi finally admitted, yes, there's issues with election fraud. You guys, I firmly believe, my opinion is that Kamala Harris is the legitimate president. And I just don't understand why the Democrats refuse to acknowledge that the piece of garbage in the Oval Office right now is a criminal. He's an awful human being. He has already been convicted for election fraud, for trying that 34 counts of business fraud related to election interference. He's a crook. And then he was under indictment for trying to steal the 2020 election. This is a person who steals elections. And we have to stop dignifying his existence by not talking about these things. The guy is a crook. The guy stole our country, and Kamala Harris is the legitimate president. That's the person. And remember, and as I said yesterday when I was talking with Ellie, and This Will Hold, once we just accept that the Republicans cheat, it removes a lot of the person. It's a little bit of a stress. Once we accept that the Republicans cheat, it removes a lot of division. We don't have to be mad at our neighbors. We can stop with all this. You guys better start getting interested in stuff. We don't have to be so angry at the people in our community because there's not that many who support this guy because they cheat. And it's just allowing yourself to start at that point. It removes so much division. And we just acknowledge that he is a cheat. It removes so much division. Yeah, he can't be allowed to nuclear bomb anybody. It's already the shame of the United States that this is the only country that has dropped nuclear bombs on civilian targets. That's reprehensible. We can't do it again. That will make us a terrorist nation. We arguably are already in many ways. But yes, you see, and the article I wrote today is kind of comical. Oh, what does American Citizen say? Why don't we work with France? Well, we have to do what we can. And whether it's our current elected officials or the progressives who are running, the more we can do. If there's people in France who have this information, gosh, I'd love to talk to them. There's John Liccioni again. I'm glad we had a quick talk yesterday with American Citizen. So much happened yesterday. So much happened. But anyway, the article I wrote today was about how, because the Democrats always say, let's appeal to moderate Republicans. And the article I wrote is, okay, all you have to do is say Democratic leadership is awful. And all of a sudden the moderate Republicans are like, yes, we agree with you. And it's comical how, when you say that, the Schumers and the Pelosi's and all that, they're like, well, wait, no, we don't want that. We want to go back to bashing progressives. And it's like, if you take their arguments and spin them, you just see how absurd they are and how contradictory they are. I've been just telling, they come out of the woodwork, Walter, you shouldn't be criticizing. I'm like, oh, you shouldn't be so divisive. You're going to have to reach across the aisle and work with people you don't agree with, like me. I just use all their arguments against them to dismantle them. And we have to do that. Yeah, well, flipping the Reagan Republican, but if you got to watch that discussion I did yesterday with Ellie Leonard, and This Will Hold about the existing election interference. We know they're passing through the SAVE Act. Republicans are cheaters. They are cheaters. They're trying to push through the SAVE Act. The SAVE Act is cheating. We know they purge ballots. We know they tried to disqualify ballots and discredit ballots. They tried to dismiss 60,000 ballots to steal a Supreme Court seat in North Carolina. They are cheaters. And if we just accept and acknowledge and fight against the cheating rather than just being told, well, ignore that. And then the Democrats do this. Ignore that there's cheating. And let's just focus on the fact Democrats say this. They say reprehensible things like the country isn't ready for a black woman, which is racist and misogynistic. Democrats are saying that. If they would shut up about their racist, misogynistic, electability bullshit, and they would just focus on the facts that they're a pretty strong. The SAVE Act is election interference. This isn't a conspiracy theory. It exists. We start doing that. We have to secure. Well, I mean, the southern border, I mean, it's not even an issue. It frankly is not an issue. I don't think we should succumb to that Republican thing. We have to completely change the game. We're trying to play chess and they're playing tic-tac-toe and they refuse to take their chips out of the back row, their pieces out of the back row. And we have to stop submitting to this Republican representation of reality. We need to start talking about election theft because they steal elections. And so, as I was saying, my 5-point plan, challenge them to prove they're doing things honestly. And even if we don't find anything, just the fact that we're having these investigations, we're coming forth to defend the right of everybody to vote. Democrats are far too willing to attack people for not voting, and they don't do the job to ensure every vote is counted. We don't know what the counts are. We don't know what the counts are in the last elections. We honestly don't, because there are so many inconsistencies. Again, the media does not interview experts. You'll see these status quo publications. Well, people get on and be like, well, there are these questions about the election. Like, I know. We don't even talk about that. It's like, have you talked to an expert? Go talk to an expert. And I've talked with experts. See, the amazing thing about Substack is there are so many experts out there who are just desperate to tell the truth about things and educate the public that they're willing to come onto my relatively small platform just because I'm the only one who gives them a little bit of airtime. And it goes out to a lot of people, and bit by bit, we're getting bigger. But I mean, like Bob Dan, I always mention him. He was a nuclear weapons expert, one of the top 3 or 4 guys in the nation when he retired from the military. And he came on, he's like, I need to talk about what's going on these enrichment centers. They're getting everything wrong. And you get these sleek, newscasters, and they get on and they start repeating and regurgitating stuff they know nothing about. And because the legacy media is entirely focused on, open rates, so they do their scandalous headlines, they do scandalous information, and they never bother to promote what experts have to say about things, the opinions, the truth. We do not educate the public. John says, a well-regulated American and Ukrainian militia being necessary for the security of a free state, the right of the American and Ukrainian people to keep and bear American arms should not be infringed. Well, I mean, not infringed, but at the same time, we got to have common sense we got to do something about the white supremacists who march into schools with military grade weapons and kill our kids. I mean, that's white supremacy. We've got what we have in the United States is a white supremacy terrorist, or we got multiple terrorist organizations. I would be much more concerned. You know what I want? Forget the border. Let's do something about the domestic terrorism of white supremacy groups in the United States. Let's, you could even take the model of ICE, 170 billion. Let's use it to round up child rapists. Let's do that, And, well, you know what, John? Because you're saying flipping Republicans. I think a lot of Republicans, and it's interesting. I would debate this. We'll talk about this another time. This is a good one. I like what you're doing, and perhaps it'll work. I mean, the other thing is we're throwing out a lot of ideas here. I see what you're doing, but I like the idea. I'm always like at the fringe of what other people are thinking. I'm trying to push that Overton window, and I think we need to stop even entertaining anything. I don't care what Republicans think, to be absolutely honest. I do not give a shit. I do not give a shit about what's one single, but I mean, John's trying to run for office. So his approach is different than mine. I appreciate what he's doing. I respect what he's doing. That's fair enough. I just am trying to leverage in. So it's like our representation is out there. Good to see you, Margaret. I love and appreciate seeing you there. But I wanted to get back again. So I already talked with John yesterday. I'll have another interview with him. Today is my rant session. I don't know if I would like to tangle and bring a couple of you guys in, but I don't know if I have the energy for that quite yet. But I was talking about yesterday. I need more creators. Margaret, you could be one of these people, please. Thank you, John. I'm getting all riled up. I appreciate you. And Margaret, you could be one of these people that helps me. We just need to be constantly, a couple of us, interviewing new progressive candidates. Margaret, you could interview John. That would be fantastic. I'm sure John would want. John is running for Congress in Florida. Margaret, yes. Margaret says, okay, it's done. Boom. That's progress. We need to make this there's Robert Dana. Oh, we're in the presence of greatness. I was just talking about Robert Dana. I love it. And I'm just saying we need to be, yes, more of us on Substack. We need to make this a Substack trend. You don't have to completely dedicate your platform to it like I'm doing. But I want everybody, every creator to one day a week, please just interview a candidate and then interview a progressive candidate for office. Because again, the legacy media does not cover the primaries. And the reason is the primaries are rigged. It's easier to purchase the primaries than it is to purchase the general election. So we end up with the same donors promoting two establishment candidates. You hear this from the Democrats. They say they've been telling other progressives to drop out of races because they say, we like this candidate. This candidate is a better fundraiser than you. I've talked to candidates. He's a better fundraiser because he wrote himself a check for $1 million or he's taken APAC money. You see, the corruption is in the primaries. And the way to win back our country, I firmly believe this, the way to win back our country, we vote out the establishment Democrats who have been in office since before they invented the 8-track. These are people who have no comprehension about the technology. And I say that as a person who I freak out when I get a new cell phone, and it's like there's been people that have been around, like the technology of the day they can't comprehend. Like 3/4 of Congress doesn't know how to attach a document to an email. And we are relying on them to pass legislation to protect us from AI and cruel hate algorithms that are destroying the mental health of our kids. Yeah. And John, I'm literally experiencing what you're talking about. So John, tell me if you are willing. This is a good way to pitch you a question because you don't necessarily have to answer. But John, have you had high-ranking Democrats call you and tell you to suspend your campaign? Because that is anti-democratic. And we have to call it. I've heard it. Other candidates have told me this has happened. Yes, he says the DNC has selected 2 candidates. So, John, have you personally received a phone call? You don't have to answer. This is a good way to ask a question like this. But I want more of people who are getting phone calls from these high-ranking Democrats. These high-ranking Democrats have the time and energy to waste pressuring people, who are running for office, and they won't come and talk to me. They're surrendering the messaging. They aren't coming to Substack. They aren't doing anything to oppose the Republicans. All they want to do is control what candidates. They are really, really afraid of the people voting them out and voting in a new generation of leaders. If we've got people in office who aren't doing their damn job, vote them out. Why is this so hard to understand? And the Democratic leadership, they pushes us with this. Well, we got the incumbent. We always trust the incumbent. The stakes are too high. If that incumbent isn't voting for us, get him out. You fire them. You hire somebody else. That's how it works. I'm spitting all over myself. I'm getting all riled up. Oh, yeah, it's voting day in Wisconsin today. Everybody get out and vote. Vote for Chris Taylor for Supreme. Oh, and also there's a race. There's that race in Georgia. Marjorie Taylor Greene's seat is going to be filled today. So many times the establishment Democrats, the level, they have to defend themselves. How complicit are they? How complicit are they, really? They just default on these elections. They're just like, well, we really can't win. Get out there and fight. Get the whole, get every single, how about if you get every single member of Congress who's not doing a damn thing anyway, for a month, they can just go knocking door to door in Georgia and we ensure we win that seat. What the hell? Why is that so hard to figure out? Why is that so hard? They aren't even really trying. Yeah, if we had flipped Green's seat, but that's why, John, that's why they had the raid in Georgia. They did this raid. It's rigged. Georgia's rigged. And then, again, I talked to This Will Hold. This Will Hold kind of goes through everything, all their different tactics. They change their tactics. I've had people say, it's like, Well, obviously, if they thought, that they had it all rigged, they wouldn't be trying to push the SAVE Act. And it's like, look, that's faulty logic. That doesn't mean, because they're trying to push the SAVE Act doesn't mean they didn't cheat in previous elections. It means they understand that it's different this time, and they have to take different they have to take different strategies and tactics to cheat the next elections. It always evolves. Think of it like doping. If you guys watched the Tour de France when they doped, if you watch Lance Armstrong, he says, and this year we did this, and this year we did that. And it's not like they did one thing and that was cheating. Cheating is a lot of different things. We just don't understand that. We don't have these conversations because people are like, oh, there's no cheating. The American people just don't care. I mean, that's the Democratic Party. And it's like, we can see what's happening. We know what's happening. Here we go. Robert says, we need to demand that every Democrat explain to us how they plan to address progressive values and principles. We don't need centrists compromising with Republicans. Yes. And I mean, this is why I keep saying we need to make it a Substack trend that our new creators here, all these people who have big platforms, smaller and bigger than mine, and I will jump in and I will help. So yeah, number one, I guess on my 5-point plan, I don't know if I'm going to get to 5. I might do 10 points or I might do 3. But I just want, number one, make it a Substack trend. Resolve to interview one candidate per week. If everybody did that, we'd get the coverage. Again, I can't do it all by myself. I've been overwhelmed this week. 435 seats, sometimes 4 or 5 people running for each seat. I cannot interview every single candidate. I've been doing 2 or 3 a day, and I can't do it. I've got 2 today. At 2:00, I'll be interviewing Ginger Murray. She's got a real chance of winning Wisconsin District. I think it's 7. And then is his name? His name is Joel Lava. He told me he's at some sort of event. He's going to try and jump on the phone with me at around 12:30. Tomorrow, I'm going to be on the Daily Whatever. I'm going to be talking with Emily Berge. She's got a real chance of flipping Derek Van Orden's seat. And again, I'm always interviewing the candidates who are not bought and paid for the DNC, because get this, the candidates bought and paid for by the DNC refuse to talk to me. They refuse to canvass the districts. They think they can win entirely by taking that money, buying ads, and they're going to win. The real candidates, the people candidates, are the ones that are going door to door. They aren't afraid, because these bought and paid for corporate candidates are afraid to talk to people. They're afraid to answer these questions, and they are losing control of the narrative, and they know it, because it's like, I'm an educated person. You can't pull the wool over my eyes for so long, and that's happened with everybody else. Okay, great. John is now a courage candidate. Awesome. Impeach on day 1. Thank you, John. Thank you. And we're going to get you. John says it's not compromising. It's flipping Republicans. And I think a lot of it, because that's another way, I think it's just us talking about the issues. Like I said, the Democrats ain't done shit for us. If you talk about that, Republicans are like, yeah, that's true. And it's just like, let's just openly say we're trying to get a new classic candidate. These multimillionaire, it's like, I think it's bullshit. I know Republicans cheat when they're in office. They're a bunch of grifters, but Nancy Pelosi's worth like $200 million. That's bullshit. And we can't sit here and be like, oh, we can't talk about that with Nancy Pelosi. We can be critical of the Republicans, but if we're critical of the Democrats who do the exact same thing, somehow we're part of the problem. That is not logic, friends. That cracks my brain. It's like, look, it's like in the movie on the Untouchables. It's like, we have to be pure. Don't go home and take a drink. If we're going to enforce these laws, you can't go home and take a drink. You have to obey the laws. You have to obey the rules. And our Democrats, the established Democrats, the blue MAGA, the ones who say lies, I mean, the things that they say, that line about electability should make us as angry as if they say any other racist phrase. They are not allowed to say that ever again. Any Democrat who says electability in any sense, it always means they're going to spend money to not elect the woman or the member of the minority group or whatever. It's always bigotry. We cannot have the Democrats enabling bigotry. All right, American citizen. Can you get like 10 points you ask candidates about? Oh, great. And actually, that's going to be ongoing and changing. Okay, I'll talk about this. What to say to them, too. What to say. Okay, let me just go through it. Election integrity is a big one. Stopping stopping child rapists, and like let me put it. I mean, the idea that our taxpayer dollars are going to enable child rapists. I mean, what assurance do we have, because they're not telling us who these ICE agents are? What assurance do we have that they're not hiring white supremacists? What assurance do we have that they're not hiring child rapists? What assurance do we have that ICE is not an extension of the Epstein freaking mechanism because they're abducting kids? Repealing birthright citizenship creates a whole generation of children that can be trafficked. So, and then pivot into universal healthcare, universal education. But mainly I'm finding these, a DNA database for all law enforcement and politicians. That's Jen Budd's idea. I think that's a great idea because we just don't have accountability for rapists in the United States. Let's flat out say it. Fighting white supremacy. That's another one. That's the one Natasha always tells me to emphasize. We have to stop white supremacy. Our Democrats can't just be like, oh yeah, I'm against racism. You have to be actively against racism, and you have to do something right then. And that can be as little as sponsoring some anti-racist Substack. Tallarico's sitting on millions of dollars. He could be sponsoring me because I'm doing his work for him. This is how we change this. I just want to say, you guys, it's yesterday as I was about to go to sleep. I'm getting behind on your comments, so I'll get to them in a second. But yesterday I was going to sleep, and I'm just like, I'm starting to feel really energized because I'm feeling like we're getting in sync. All these wonderful people, the talks I had yesterday, I had a wonderful talk with Natasha and Evie. And I talked with American Citizen in the morning. That was wonderful. And John. And we're all just kind of getting into the same kind of fighter's mindset. I love seeing it happen. I hope it happens. We have to accelerate this process if we can. That's why I keep coming on to these morning things. Even though I have so many things to repost, I'm going to overwhelm your poor emails with everything I'm creating. They're going to start suppressing me that way. But that's why we need more of you. And it doesn't matter. You got 1,000 followers, you got 10,000, you got 100,000. Just be constantly in discussions with progressive candidates. Constantly get the word out there. And you'll start to see this is going to naturally start changing our political dialogue. We have to stop even listening to what Republicans and establishment Democrats are saying. We can completely change it. Watch what Mamdani did. He just didn't even talk. He didn't even acknowledge all the bad stuff. I caught myself that time. If neurodivergent is there, I caught myself. They didn't even acknowledge all the stuff that the Republicans are saying. We allow them to just dominate our entire dialogue. If you just set that aside, like, well, that's all nonsense. Let's have a country that helps our kids. If we just do that, we'll start recognizing that we can just tune them out. Just tune out the Republicans. Don't ignore them, oppose them, but also tune them out. You don't have to respond to all the stuff that they say. It's not incumbent upon us to prove to them because we know we're right and we're just getting in sync. You wonderful people, when you come here, you empower me. It feels so good to see you. And we're getting in sync. I feel it. I felt so much love yesterday in the talks we had. It was just wonderful. 10 and 4 cents about them. Have progressives fill out this form. That's a good idea, American Citizen. You might have to just take notes on that. Actually, you are good at that too. Write that post for me, and then I can send you my notes on it. We have to do it like this because honestly, it's the organizing that's starting to wear me out. These talks, this is where I think I can be of best service. But there's all this where it's like I have to send emails and I have to organize things. I have to worry on my calendar. If other people set up these interviews for me, that's Stephanie Hernandez, I think her name was. She set up that interview with Abel Chavez. And I just had to show up. I'm like, great. That saves me so much mental energy. It allows me to do better things. People are organizing these things for me. I mean, that's what grassroots mean. And if those of you who can support me financially, awesome. Thank you. That helps so much. But if you can support me by organizing interviews, I'm going to have to be better about creating a calendar or something. But if you guys can get it all set up, like you can be the host, invite me. That brings my audience to that discussion. And then it's just set. I just have to show up. We talk. We get it spread out. All of our platforms spread that information. We get more visibility. And it's got to be ongoing. We have to reprogram the whole United States. This is a series of lectures every day. We talk and talk and talk. We have to fill the void, the absence of the rational perspective. Yeah, reposting helps a lot too. You know what? And John says, let's admit, no, we don't have to admit that because I think Biden-Harris, I think they did a fine job on the border. I don't think we should do that. I don't think we should. I think they've done a much better job. They've been protecting America. I mean, what we're doing here with John is, I think I've lost. Okay. What we're doing here is, John, we're kind of, this is just a friendly debate. This is a friendly discourse and an academic disagreement. I think we need to have our focus on the failures of the current administration. I don't think we should ever admit. See, this is how the conservative mind works. They never admit they were wrong. So let's force them to admit it. Look at what they're doing. They're out shooting, American citizens who have a right to carry weapons. They're shooting them. They're murdering people. They're rounding up children. Children are turning up raped in these detention facilities. Focus on that. And there's nothing that Biden and Harris did that even should enter the conversation. There's so much horrors and atrocities. I think it's, but John knows his district better than I do. So this is just an idea. And I'm not going to scream at him. I'm not going to be his enemy because he doesn't do what I think is right. He's the one who's campaigning. And again, I am the extreme, just personality on the media. John's the one who's actually in these rooms and town halls with real people trying to get elected. So it's like, we don't have to, and I'm saying all this because we get into this case too often where we divide. We're like, I don't see it. I don't see your activism exactly the same way as I see mine. So we're like, we're enemies. We don't have to be like that. John can do it a little differently. I can do it a little differently. And then all of us together make progress. It'll change. A week from now, I might be doing it John's way. John might be doing it my way. That's fine. That's why we have these conversations. So that's perfect. But I would say make the focus entirely the failures of all Republicans, because everything wrong with the border. They never built a wall, did they? Why don't we ever talk about that? He promised to build a wall. He never did. He's a failure. Why didn't he build a wall? Why didn't he get it done in his 4 years? Talk like that. Turn their arguments against them. Be aggressive. And because we have the winning arguments, because the administration is a pack of losers and criminals. All right. So some ideas there. Colleen, I agree that getting the candidates some recognition, most people don't know anything. Yeah. And that's by design, Colleen. You got to understand, even the status quo newsmen who have come to Substack, who claim to be independent media, a lot of them are trying to maintain that status quo of not interviewing the progressives. They're freezing the progressives out deliberately because they control our elections this way. We have to elevate the progressive candidates. We have to give people a choice. We have to turn these foregone conclusions into competitive races. That's our job. And that will make the Democrats shit a brick. And what you might see, pressure is our friend. Pressure is our tool right now. And as they start feeling the pressure, they might start actually acting. And so that would be fine too. If they get this regime, held accountable before the midterms even happen, awesome. Then we win. But we continue to do this, whether or not. We continue to talk about progressive ideas. We continue to take back the mainstream and the messaging. And we quit responding. And we go on the attack. That's the clearest way to say it. Go on the attack. Do not defend. Go on the attack. Attack, 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 attack. That's how we win, because they're criminals and the things they're doing are reprehensible. So go on the attack. I need people on the attack. Margaret. I'll send my interviews to local papers and they will not print them. They will not post the link. Do you want to know about these candidates? They deliberately suppress information about candidates. You're right. And that bipartisan bill that they blocked, but I think you can go way beyond that. The stuff that works, billionaire welfare. That's the thing to say. We have to end billionaire welfare. Why is it that all my taxpayer dollars go to bail out some rich guy? I mean, don't even talk about taxing. We hand over billions to them. Their business fails. I got to pay because that billionaire's business failed. He can mortgage his assets. Why do I have to suck it up so that he can go off to his billionaire pedophile island? End billionaire welfare. That will work in red districts. I guarantee you. Talking about billionaire welfare and ending billionaire welfare. And it's like, we don't even have to tax anybody. Just stop handing over billions and billions of dollars and their fortunes will crumble because they have no abilities. All right. Karma says Trump is nuke. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I have I can't do anything about the nukes. I guess just pressure in different ways. Karma says, call your Congress people, demand action. Our Congress refused to talk to people. But John C. It says, true, we must admit it took us 3 years to introduce the bill, but we need to go on the attack. Let's just forget about the things that we've done wrong. Go on the attack. I mean, you're a progressive. Say, hey, I am not affiliated with those guys. Those are the corporate Democrats. They suck. I agree. That's why I'm running. I'm a progressive Democrat. I'm going to work for you. These guys, these are the ones who enrich themselves in office. That's not me. Use those arguments, because the more we get that out in the mainstream, we win. And whether John wins his primary or not, if you talk about that enough, if we all do this, all the people we interview, we talk about these things, we make it in the mainstream, it's freaking obscene that our representatives, both Democrat and Republican, enrich themselves in office. Your job isn't to enrich yourself. How much are you worth? What's your net worth? Why did you enrich yourself in your office? And then you have the nerve to ask me for $10 for your campaign, and you're going to turn around and do nothing? Not accepted. Yeah. Margaret says, why don't you run? I don't think it's for me, Margaret. That's lovely. I appreciate when you say that. We'll see. I'm supporting. I told you already, my daughter applied to be the student representative at the school board. She has an interview coming up. I think my job is to defer to women and support women and support. I think I'm a better service like this, where I can interview these progressive candidates, and I think we can get a couple people in. We'll see how it goes, Margaret. I might, maybe I'll run for school board or something at some point. That'd be the type of thing I do. Frankly, I think the school board is the most important position out there. I want kids to be able to read books. You know, I don't want book burners hiring our superintendent. I mean, that's where the fight is. All right, there's so many things Dems drop the ball on. Yep. And, distance yourself from the Dems. I marched as USA for Black Lives. Wonderful. I'm glad you did that, John. That's fantastic. And that's perfect. That's the kind of activism we need. Yeah. All right. Pamiam says you're doing great. I hope that was directed at me. Norma says, I don't care if he just threatened the lives of everyone. Yeah. I mean, we got it. And if he's an illegitimate president, I mean, there's a real strong chance that he is. Let's just stop pretending that he's not. And if he's illegitimate, all this money he's spending, all these people are killing, all that's illegitimate too. All the murders would be illegitimate regardless. Yeah, he needs to be removed now. But we have to restore the actual election. We have to get Kamala in. Yeah. Invite people in your life to join Substack. Pamium, that's a good one. We got to get more people, got to expand. And just these collective, continuing to do these interviews, continuing to be together, continuing to stop responding and reacting. We've got to have our own think tanks where we have to push aside all the conditioning and the indoctrination that makes us think that political dialogue has to look a certain way. Do like what Mamdani did this. Mamdani's just like, look, this is where our focus is. This is what we can do. Let's not talk about, who did what or what wasn't enough. Let's put things in motion that will actually help. And then you follow it up with actual action. That's the other thing, because Democrats are great at saying, yeah, I resolve to do this. And then they don't do a damn thing. What can you do today? And then do something today, a little thing. Today I did this, and it was not very much. I gave some food to a food pantry. That's what I did. And it was something. And, it doesn't solve the problem, but it matters to the person who got that food. So that's what I'm going to do. And we make these collective, because we're just conditioned to just accept these empty promises. Well, when I am in office, I'll do this and that. And if you give me $20, because we're always the ones who have to act. You got guys that are sitting on fortunes and war chests of tens of millions of dollars, and they're asking us for more. They ask you that. They've already received corporate money. They're asking you for a $10 donation to prevent you from supporting a voice like mine. That's what they do. And they have infiltrated Substack. They came deliberately to silence us because we were going too fast for them. There is a lot of effort to suppress progressive candidates entering our government. You have to overcome the money. You just have to. And just make sure we elect people that aren't already multimillionaires, who aren't already corrupt, who aren't already only beholden to their own interests. We got to get people in that will serve us. And that starts with changing how we think about this. We change. And we demand better. Yeah, give me 8 minutes. I'm sure American Citizen wants the 8 minutes to talk to a yeah, like the Speaker of the House. Talk to me for a few minutes. But I mean, they could be coming onto this platform. They could be lifting me up. We could be rising. We could be talking about more issues that are important. We could be changing the general mindset of the nation. And one of the only things that makes sense is that they're not interested in doing that because they know the people didn't vote for this guy. They know these ideas are already not very widespread. And so that means that there's a real chance that a lot of the Democrats in office right now are complicit and who allowed the theft of our government, of our election. Colleen says law enforcement is a huge problem and we need to have our eyes opened as to who we put in those positions. Yeah, that's Jen Budd's idea of the DNA database. We should compare it. I mean, you should have to submit a DNA sample. If you are a rapist, you should not be eligible to become a police officer or a politician or a preacher or a teacher. I mean, that seems common sense to me. And if you feel that's an invasion of privacy, then do something else. Go become a mechanic or something. A completely valid and important job, mechanic. I just had my car fixed. Margaret, yes, Margaret knows how to network. Margaret is great. Hey, Margaret, if you got a minute, do you want to come on? I'm starting to. I don't want to scroll away. I want to look at these questions, but if you want to come on, Margaret, put a message in there, and I'll scroll down. Era, yeah, the High Court of History, we looks bad, but we have the power. We the people have the power. We just have to rouse ourselves. Don't respond. How do we win? Yeah, see, and John, this is how I think we should win. This is a red district. I welcome the spirit of debate. No worries. Good. John's on my side. I sent you a packet. Perfect. But I think this will win. But and John, yeah, like I said, John is in the district. He knows the people better than I do. I'm just throwing suggestions out there. If he's just that he's listening, that makes me happy. Just listen. And then it's like sometimes you're like, well, maybe because at first blush you're like, no, I don't think that'll work. And then you give it a couple days. Actually, there is something to that. Anna Paulina, Queen of the Guardian, the pedophile. Yeah, got to get him beat. So good work, John. Keep at it. We can all look into what progressives are running and reach out to ask if they'd. Yes, please. That's it. That's what we need to do. And send them the interviews I've done with other candidates. Mention the courage candidates. Let me just read that because I get ahead of myself. MJ wrote, we can all look into what progressives are running and reach out to ask if they'd sit down to talk with Walter. Yes, please. And if you can set that up. And MJ, if you want to be the host and then just invite the two of us, that would work great too. Colleen, I would like to help. It might be easier to have a good list of questions for them. American Citizen and I will work on that list. But I mean, a lot of it, you can listen to the interviews I've done already and restack those and write down those questions. And you might find the questions occur to you like new things. A lot of times I do these as just kind of dialogues where I allow them to kind of show off who they are. You're going to find these progressive candidates are astonishingly good. And John too, astonishingly good. Offensive lawfare. This is John's comment. Offensive psychological warfare. Get inside the enemy's, yes. Decision cycle, yes. We have surrendered the narrative. And to the establishment, the blue mega Democrats, they just react. We need to go on the offensive. Karma, there are 58 people here. Please call Congress now and demand he be removed. Yeah, do it. Absolutely do it. We have to. There's truth. Yeah, it's awful. Bonnie, thank you, Bonnie, for agreeing. Pammy M, tag them, hold them accountable. We don't have to be defensive. They're literally protectors of pedophiles. They've had all this time to arrest people. Kat says, I think I should run. I appreciate that, Kat. I don't think it's for me. I want to support these. I don't trust myself as much as I support these brilliant women candidates that I've met. And there's a great one here. We've got a great congressional candidate in my district. I might at some point do something like school board. So thank you for that. Thank you for standing up for women. Thank you, Pammy M. Pammy M. I hope I'm saying that right. That's lovely. You have great value in this persona. Thank you, John. Bonnie says we need immediate 911 style response to the rhetoric, and that's absolutely it. We just let him dither, and the media covers it because they're more worried about click rates than truth. They never bring experts on. Now that I've said that, you look for it. You watch the media. They'll say something. They never bring in an expert to verify if what they say is true. Start watching that, and then go to platforms that actually do bring on experts. You'll learn more, and you'll stop feeling so frustrated because we'll start seeing the things we're wrong about. The media as it exists right now is a propaganda mechanism. It is designed to keep us incarcerated. It's not designed to expand our thinking or teach us. Good. MSN Now is talking about it. Yeah, a whole civilization is going to die. Is he planning on doing it tonight? Fuck. Thank you, American Citizen. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I think he's illegitimate too, says Kat. American Citizen live, talk about how to try it. Good. Yeah. Do it, American Citizen. That'll be fantastic. Talking about how to stop the nukes. We can't have nukes. We can't have nukes. We can't murder little kids. John says election integrity. John, it went out of my head how to say your name again. John Liccione. Election integrity defense lawfare update. Liccione versus Bartlett. Oh, yes. Thank you. Using the courts is such a wonderful and important thing. The state attorney just committed perjury in a court filing. Oh, yeah. That's a really important place to apply pressure. We're not getting any kind of federal response, but there's a lot of things we can do on the state level. And these lawsuits are going to slow them down. There's a lot of actions we can take. Robert Dana says, we do also need to coalesce around a progressive message and plan and repeat. Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to do here to a large extent. Robert Dana is wonderful. His strategy, everything about Robert makes me happy. MJ says, oh my God, it drives me. Yeah, that we're asking us for money. Yeah. What makes them think we have any money? And they have so much. Yeah. John says, Lucione Substackers with big audiences have been blocking me from creating new threads on their chat feeds. Yeah. I mean, I would DM them because I mean, that might be John. That might be actually innocent because there's so many attacks. I don't have the biggest audience, but I get attacked by bots a lot. So I'd be interested to hear what names there are. But there are some I've already discovered. There are big Substackers who are willing that present themselves as liberal, but they're not very liberal. I keep bringing up Adam Kinzinger. He's not helping us. He is supporting all the old, outdated status quo that got us to this moment. And acting like, well, we can be. He's completely wrong. And you shouldn't be supporting him. He's got his purple check mark, which means he's got tens of thousands of paid subscribers. He doesn't need it. He's already a multimillionaire. He had the benefit of taxpayer-funded healthcare. I haven't had that. Don't give Kinzinger any money. You have to give it to new voices. The new voices are the ones that are going to change things. Get him in there. And I mean, and it's lovely. I mean, I'm fine. This idea of disagreement, because there's been slight disagreements between me and John just now, and it's like they're fine. This is a conversation. It's an academic debate where we try to appreciate and construct a strategy going forward. That's effective. It's not just him listening to me or me listening to him. We say, well, I think this and you think that. I think this, you think that. And then we find the answer. That's the scientific process. That's the academic process. That's how it works. And we've been kind of coerced out of that. We're so divided right now, and the Democratic establishment makes us divided too. Yeah, Robert says they're complicit. Amanda, and then, I must have lost Margaret because I'd asked her to jump on with me. I hadn't talked to Margaret in a while. Yeah, John says, I'm suing the local state attorney for covering up election records. Yeah, good. And more stuff like that. We'll keep hearing more about that. Can people sue for personal data being stolen? I mean, the problem with lawsuits is they're just expensive. And I mean, the more we have, people taking that on. I'm talking, the woman I'm talking to today, Ginger Murray, I'm talking to her at 2:00 p.m. She's a lawyer. I'm going to try to look, because we have been coerced into just kind of dismissing all of the tools that could actually function to win this. And it's because the oligarchs own the media. And, we keep seeing this where these kind of celebrity journalists who have been taught a certain way of doing things, and they've got their celebrity not because they were any good, but because they carried water for the oligarchs, right? And so then it's like, oh, you're fired. You're fired from this publication. They come to Substack. They bring that mentality to Substack. Everybody flocks to them for some reason. And then they continue with their idea of not promoting progressive candidates, because that's just not done in legacy media. So they're like, well, that's what we're going to do here too. The things I did for this major publication are going to work here. And what they end up doing is they become agents of the oligarch media, even though they're on independent media. So you guys all have to be very discerning about that. Yeah, I mean, I always say, if you guys can afford to give me the paid sponsorship, I really appreciate it. I need it. But it's just, that's why it drives me. It's just absolutely, it makes me really upset. Jim Acosta doesn't need any money. He's worth millions. Robert Reich doesn't need any money. He's worth millions. Adam Kinzinger doesn't need any money. He's worth millions. And I see people that, oh, Walter, I love what you do. I wish I could afford. And then I check who they're sponsoring, and they're sponsoring these millionaires. And it's like, you guys, you just have to, be this. And I mean, this group here who's on this chat is likely already my most helpful supporters. And I really appreciate that. But it's like, there is this deliberate suppression. And it's, again, I can't do it all by myself. I was feeling a little frantic over the weekend. I'm feeling less frantic now because I'm seeing that the progress is being made. It was more just the idea occurred to me, and I'm like, why did everybody figure this out at the same time I did? And so it's like, okay. I'll take a step back and explain it. Pamia, we need to hit him where it hurts. It's spending our tax dollars on an illegal war and the Board of Peace. You guys, that resolution, I think it was Resolution 58, which was to strip the president of his war powers. 4 Democrats voted against it. I mean, we had enough votes to stop this war already. But the Democrats, 4 of them defected and voted with the Republicans to let it keep going. And for some reason, we're just supposed to ignore that? That should be the number one. Go look it up. The House resolution to suspend the president's war powers. It was on March 5th. I can't remember the name of it. Go look it up. Go look at congress.gov. You can find these things. those government web pages kind of hide the information. Hi, Lefty Prof. But you can go and check and see who voted to allow this to keep going. And what irritates me more is not just the way they voted, but the fact that our other Democrats didn't come out and condemn. Hi, Eric. Eric, do you want to come on for a moment this morning? You could jump on with me if you'd like. I want to talk that Shelby Campbell interview. I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I'm so happy. Eric just did what I've been like the whole thing I've been saying this morning. More people. Okay, Eric's good. He can come on. I'll invite Eric on. He saw that interview. Okay, let me just, we'll walk through this process here. When I get this, Eric. There it is. The first one that pops up. Awesome. It'll be good. I'm starting to run out of my energy already. Nah, not really. I never run out of my energy. You guys, again, I just love all you guys so much. And this is so important. These morning just talks. I love it. Hey. Eric, there's the man. My morning rage.
The Walter raging in the morning.
I saw, and thank you for interviewing Shelby. Isn't she awesome?
Oh, she's a doll. She's great.
Yeah, and she's running in Michigan.
Amazing.
Yeah. What did you find out after talking? Tell us about that.
So, for those of you that don't know who she is, so Shelby Campbell is a 32-year-old single mom, third generation UAW, like just really nice millennial. I mean, Gen Y. So she's running for the Democratic nomination for Michigan 13, which is the old John Conyers district. If you guys remember John Conyers, he was U.S. Congressman. No, U.S. Congressman from the Detroit area who represented that area for almost 50 years, actually. So that district runs from like the eastern side of Detroit, kind of like looping underneath downtown Detroit and then extending out to the southwest parts of the city and then into the western suburbs of Wayne County, which includes Metro Airport, and Romulus and Wayne and Taylor and some of the downriver districts. So, you know.
Perfect.
Yeah. So what did I find out from her? So I found out for her to be very authentic. Yes. Very authentic. She's very real about her history and her stories. Like there's nothing, she doesn't run away from anything, Walter. She just, she talked about the whole deal with Campbell's soup with the labels. That was a big, but she's a firebrand. She will fight. And she's a fighter. She went after University of Detroit Mercy for basically expelling her.
Yeah. And she was pursuing her law degree. So.
Yeah, she was pursuing her law degree.
That story was funny.
She's pissed off about the Ambassador Bridge project with the Maroon family. So it's pronounced Maroun. So this is the private family. They're Arab American who have started buying all this land around the Ambassador Gordie Howe Bridge. They was renamed the Gordie Howe Bridge after the great Gordie Howe, for those of you that follow hockey. So this is the bridge that sits kind of a little bit more further south in the city and connects Detroit to Windsor, Canada, Ontario. It's really the only suspension bridge that connects the U.S. to Canada. All right. The bridge that connects Buffalo and Canada and the Niagara is more like a built bridge. It's not a suspension bridge. It's a fixed bridge. So, and then what I found was that, and Ashley actually just said in the chat that she looks like Piper from
I don't know what that show is, but yeah.
It's the Other is the New Black, something like that.
Okay, okay. Orange is
the New Black, right? Yeah, right. Yeah. So, but anyway, so what I found out about, so she's really it was hard getting some policies out of her because she was bouncing around a little bit, but
yeah, well, I think that was positive. Yeah, but
very positive and right. She has a very good pulse of what it's like to work the line in an automotive plant. She talked about the work rules were really fucked up that she can like around because the UAW contracts don't fall under the same work rules as other industries where they're allowed if they have a production shortage, they're allowed to work them like 18 days straight.
Yeah.
To make up quotas. So she was I found her to be very genuine. I found her to be very interesting. She needs 500 more signatures to get on the ballot. Yeah. So, and I mean, she's doing it all by herself. She's got, I think, one friend helping her out, but listen, I think when I asked her some pointed questions, I said, listen, your district is, 44% white. It's 37% black. How are you going to able to identify the needs of your district not being, African-American? And She's like, but listen, I've been broke and I've been poor, and I know what it's like, and I know what these
Yeah.
people go through, and it's the same problems that we have an affordability issue here, and our current congressman, who's Shreve Threano, is not addressing it, and is more like a leadership talking point boy. And all he does when he goes out and talks is impeach Trump, impeach Trump, impeach Trump. I'm not going to get it done.
Yeah, correct. You know what? And you said something I think is really important. I want to talk about it. Policy, because I think I think that's old school. Because I'm less interested in policy. I don't know if policy, like discussing policy, really is a way in this modern media environment to get elected. I don't think it is.
I have to eat a banana.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, get that potassium. I don't want you cramping up.
No cramping up while I'm working today. Yeah, right.
No, I don't think. Because when I'm doing these talks and somebody asks, because I've been encouraging other people. Oh, and I just asked, you should talk to that John Liccioni. You should talk to him. He's running for Congress in Florida. So let's just keep it rolling. I'll give you
John, if you want to direct message me, let's get you scheduled.
Probably,
another week or two.
That's what I want. We just have this tidal wave of people interviewing a new form of candidate who is willing to talk about issues differently. But yeah, people are like, well,
I still think.
Yeah,
and I know what you're saying about policy, but I think it's the questions you need to know where her boundaries are. And the only way to know that is by asking, like, what would be a policy? Like, how are you going to ensure that, industry doesn't leave Detroit where it's so centered around auto and because you have to understand, Walter.
But I would say I'm sick of kids getting raped. I mean, that's what that's like. Let's talk about kids getting raped. That's power.
Listen, but that's not everybody's priority. When you live in that district. But this is also understanding the district you're living in, right?
See, John is you're going to have a better talk with John because he was kind of, but and I was saying, it's like, I'm just a media personality and I'm deferring. I defer.
Just rage.
But I think we can't allow ourselves to be beholden or shrink away when we're running against pedophile protectors, right?
We can walk and chew gum at the same time.
We got to crush them. We need to sit down and shut up. You're protecting pedophiles. Fuck you. Vote for me. I'll protect your kids. That's what I want to see.
Get into the Diogenes show on Thursday with Walter. He
should go to jail. It's like Attica. Yeah, that's what I want to see out of our. That's what I want to see out of our representatives.
I try to be the stable, intelligent male, right? Like that's my role.
You're saying I'm not intelligent?
I said stable.
Oh man. No,
Walter's the unstable, intelligent male.
Well, I'm a dad. I have daughters, and my wife's an immigrant. So I'm fucking pissed.
I think we can have the conversation on both sides of the coin. I think you can say, go after the pedophiles, arrest them, charge them, put them in jail. Ooh. But at the same time, we can come up with a policy that addresses affordability and manages crises better than what we're doing now. I think we used to be able to do really great things in this country, right?
Yeah. But that country's gone.
If we can take 4 people and put them on a liquid fucking oxygen rocket, okay, and shoot them up into space at 22,000 miles per hour, okay, and have them go around the moon and bring them back in one piece without them dying, okay, we can do amazing things.
We can have breakfast at school for our kids.
But what it comes down to, Walter, is the same thing that you've heard me say. When we elect unserious people to do a serious job, this is the shit you get.
Well, and I think we just have to expose how unserious they are, how corrupt they are. We have to lean into that. None of this apology stuff. It's like we're the progressives, they get to separate themselves from the old school Democrats, right? It's like, yeah, those are the old Democrats. I hate them too. My article today, I'm like, you want to feel what's that? Blue MAGA, yeah. It's like I hate them too. They let this happen.
I was trying to post something. I put a post up about Trump and nukes, that we're having been the only country to drop nuclear weapons twice on civilian populations, why we should never, ever, nobody should ever be allowed to do it again. Okay. But I was on Google. And I did a search. I want people to try this in the chat. Just let me know if it's working or not. Type in Trump and nuclear threats. And Google was resetting my search back to the homepage. It wouldn't let me. It was pulling up content and then it would revert. It was. I mean,
Well,
listen. I'll show everybody this right now. Let me share the screen so we can do this. It's
okay.
hysterical.
Don't have your passwords up on the screen.
No.
Close all your other tabs.
Everything's closed. Everything's closed.
But while you're doing that, I'll just mention, because in his rallies, he would always say it's like, I'm going to invoke the N word, and everybody would start saying the slur, like the racial slur, because that's how just reprehensible the MAGA crowd is. And he's like, no, I don't mean that. I mean nuclear. And it's just like, yeah, of course you do. Oh, gosh.
So this is what I typed in, ready? So this is what it did. Watch it. This is hysterical. Trump and nuclear threats. Watch what happens. Unless there was a problem with Google because it was resetting. Like it would get to here, and I would click on images, right? See?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See what's happening?
Right. Yeah. And I just wrote about that. Okay, like white supremacy is one of the it's the number one issue in the United States. We had that issue a couple days ago where I mentioned it, that Dawn Staley, that white coach, she just beat the white coach in the basketball game. He just basically attacked her.
Yeah.
They scrubbed the videos. I shared the video, and I'm like, watch this while you can. It'll probably be removed. And literally 15 minutes later, it was removed. And I talked to Sherry Dunn about it. Sherry Dunn's fantastic. I have her book here. I haven't spoken to Sherry. I saw your interview. Oh my God, she's fantastic. She wrote this, and she was like, oh. She was like, she wrote this big long post about it. She's like, yep, that's an issue. What? You're reading? That's all I ever do is read. Yeah. No, she was fantastic. She explained it.
This is my office reading. This is what I get to read. This is the stuff I get to read, right?
She was the same as me. I was like, oh, there it is. There it is. We've got this. Yep. It just happened in real time. Yeah. No, that was fun to have that moment.
Time I use a VPN, but my office is I'm on a firewall. I have a firewall, fiber line here. So I'm like, I have a secure fiber. So I'm surprised it was doing that. So I'll
I don't know. How deep is the conspiracy?
I gotta show you something.
Okay, good.
This is fucking cool. So Miles sent this to me.
Oh, look at this.
I got me my autographed State of the Swamp poster.
Nice.
There's Miles right there.
Fantastic.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah. Ooh.
Hard to see. It's I can't even. JoJo signed this. Zev.
Nice.
Miles. Rick Wilson signed it. Yeah.
Perfect.
On wide. Yeah. Pretty cool.
These are going to be relics of the revolution.
These are relics of the yeah.
Yeah, that's going to
be
in a
like
museum.
You and me. Relics of the revolution.
I tell you. And I said the same thing to Ellie Leonard and This Will Hold yesterday. I'm just like, that's the silver lining of this. You guys you're lifelong friends now. And it's just like, at the end of my days, sir, it's going to be like, thank you for your service in this hard time. And it got me through it. And just meeting in a weird way, this has been like the best. It's like, it's been the hardest time and the best time at the same time, because all these wonderful friendships I've made.
We have, and the one thing I can say with Substack is that it's a community of people who are aligned in the same, just about almost the same purpose for why we exist. It's like we all believe in the Constitution, we all believe in the rule of law, we all believe that supposedly it's supposed to be fair and equal across the board, and we are so out of balance as a country, and it's gotten out of balance because the ruling class, which are mostly fucking baby boomers, by the way, who are afraid of becoming insignificant by losing power. So this is what they're doing. So. But we go through this every 25 years. Remember, 25 years ago, we went through this, right? We went through this with the Tea Party, and 25 years before that was the Reagan Revolution with the Reagan Democrats revolting. 25 years before that was the Vietnam era with the war protests. So we go through this about every 20 years. We cycle through a paradigm shift politically in this country, and it's always been done nonviolently. And but even then, we still had violence in the 60s. I mean, people were shot in State University. We had the Detroit race riots. We had the LA riots in the 80s. There's always going to be some level of violence, but it's when do we actually as a society fucking grow up?
Well, the good people don't use violence. The good people are nonviolent. The white
No, the good
supremacists.
people are nonviolent.
Yeah.
But we can't fix this stuff with policy anymore. We need to fix this with accountability.
Absolutely. I think so too.
And then we do it. We start with accountability, and then you fix the holes with policy, and you make sure that this shit can't happen again.
Yeah. And we gotta ramp it up though. And it's like I was saying, we can't underestimate the ingenuity of the corrupt. It's like when you've done something wrong, your effort to fix it, is different. Like it's the difference between, okay, I got to make $10,000 to buy a car. And then if somebody kidnaps your family, like you need $10,000 in 20 hours, you're going to get the money probably. And it's like what you're willing to do when it's like, oh, corruption, coercion, and all these things. And we don't have to be like them, but we have to understand what we're up against. And we keep dismissing that. And we keep not saying that the Republicans cheated elections. They're a bunch of cheaters. And so I just want to say,
they've blown the whole thing open.
Oh, that was a wonderful talk. And you'll have to talk with her at some point too. I'll do that again. She's fantastic. She's going on.
I would love to speak with her at some point. She's
brilliant. Yeah. I want to say again, though, Eric, thank you so much for doing this. You're one of the first I've talked with. Nick has interviewed candidates with me. Melissa has. I think you're the first one to do it all by yourself. Just be like, okay, I'm just going to go do this. So thank you.
But what's interesting is I reached out to both candidates that won the special elections here in Florida, and neither one of their offices have reached back out to me. And I'm in the damn district.
I will say it's common. I mean, I want everybody to be aware of that too. I send out 10 emails for every one I get a response to. So that's just expect that. And don't think you're a failure. I mean, that's just part of it.
No.
Get Lev on. We got to talk. I haven't talked with Lev yet. And have him do this too. Have him, because he's got a huge platform. Have him interview other candidates. The more big creators we get who are just like constantly pushing these progressives, and we don't have to agree on everything. That's the other thing. And John and I were doing a wonderful. You and I were doing a wonderful job.
One thing I did pressure Love about, and I asked him, I texted him, and I'm like, you got to do this for me. Like, if there's anything you got to do for me, this is the one thing. I said, I want it written down on paper somewhere that David Jolly, should he become the governor-elect of the state of Florida, that one of the first things he does is he fucking changes the name of Palm Beach International Airport, because DeSantis just fucking signed it.
Yeah.
Just went into the Donald J. Trump. Listen, this is my home airport. I am not going to walk into that fucking airport if I got to see that shit's name on top of it. Right. Like, why do we have to put his name on everything? What? He hasn't done anything. It wasn't like Reagan, right? Reagan did some pretty evil shit, but he did some pretty good things too, for the most part. And they renamed the Florida Turnpike after him because he funded the Turnpike project in Florida to have it expanded and extended all the way up to Orlando and got it fixed. So that's why they named it after him. I mean, but this piece of shit has not done anything worthwhile to put his name on.
He's been signing Bibles. It's like
I'm surprised he's not putting his name on the warheads on the tunnel.
Oh man.
But it wasn't even Reagan that started this shit. It was really all this shit really started in the 70s.
Oh, it started in the Civil War. It started prior to then. White supremacy has been the same. Genocide. This is a nation founded. Yeah, well, it evolves.
What Reagan is responsible for is he started the economic deregulation. That they were able to, when they finally started deregulating, remember they broke up the Bells, he broke up AT&T, he broke up the pilot union, he broke up the flight attendant union, he broke up the insurances and deregulated the insurance industry, which is why our healthcare is all fucked up today, and then along with the Heritage Foundation, all these other right-wing anti-democracy groups, like, to me, that would be the law. That's the simple law. Like, if you say one thing that's anti-democratic, you're done. Like, you're violating the Constitution. You have free speech up until you believe that the Constitution's no longer valid and you're fucked up.
I wrote that about if you're saying you're going to run for a third term as president, that right there, you're done. You shouldn't be able to say that. And the fact that people are like, "Whoa, let's have a conversation," it's like, no. Yeah.
Well, I'm really surprised that the Supreme Court even heard the birthright citizenship case.
Yeah, they should not have. They're corrupt. He should. He should have been on the ballot.
You had the DC court. You had the DC court 3-0 unanimous decision, basically saying that it was written in stone. And that should have been the end of it. But now we have a court that, they just basically gave Bannon a pass.
Yep. Well, they have the opportunity, even in a case like that, they see the opportunity to push through some garbage, like, because they have these 50-page, responses, and there'll be some precedent that they set that has nothing to do with the case that that's how corrupt they are.
It's called shadow. But listen, there's a reason why Article 2, Section
Yeah.
4 specifically states, okay, any and all civil officers, which, by the way, includes the Supreme Court.
Yeah. Yeah, wouldn't it be nice if we just made a set of rules and we all agreed to live by them? I mean, that's kind of, but at this point, I mean, everything is just shaken apart so much at the seams that.
Well, this is going to become Survivor. Like, you don't want to fucking live here and get off the island.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
put them off the island.
Yeah. You don't want to abide by it.
Maybe that's what needs to be the messaging to people. Instead of saying, you know what, this is like fucking Survivor. We're in the middle of survival mode right now. And the American people have a choice right now to vote. We are voting people off the island.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Done.
Yep. And that comes back to the progressives because, like we said, the same donors try to rig these. They try to rig the primaries because it's cheaper to rig the primaries than it is to rig the general. You know, you can just buy both candidates.
I'm not
the illusion of a choice.
I'm not a psychologist by any stretch of the imagination, but I have studied the Duluth theory of power and control. And really, the American people have been the subject of domestic abuse.
Yep, that's absolutely
for the last 50 years.
Yep. An abuser always has to convince his victim that they're not being abused.
No,
so you say you're living
all
in
over now.
Natasha. Natasha just came in. I'm not going to be too much longer, but I'm always tempted to bring in Natasha. But yeah, you convince people they're not being abused by saying you're in the greatest country ever. You should be thanking us. You know, we were talking about that yesterday with estrangement, and it's just sort of like shake it off. I've lived in other countries. They have a lot of things better than we have.
You know, I'm going to be in Europe first week of May. I'll be in Germany, and I've been to Europe 6 times in the last year because part of what I do for my consulting business is I bring in products from the European Union, bring them through the 510K process through the FDA here, and there is it's a different. I mean, listen, they have their issues over there too. It's not all rose petals and but
the vibe. Yeah.
The vibe is different. People understand why they pay as much as they pay for taxes. They understand where all that money goes because they see a direct social benefit from what they do.
Yeah.
When I go to Spain and I go to France and I go to, Italy, and listen, it's not great. It's not like but I'll tell you what, the streets are fucking clean.
Yeah.
There's not trash building up everywhere. There's no,
you talk to kids though, like you talk to a kid who's like 15 and they have just such a great understanding of like
4 languages minimum.
Yeah. That's the other thing. My daughter's we've got a foreign exchange student from Spain, and that's just been eye-opening for my daughter. And she's just been delighted by it. And they've been great friends because my daughter's fluent in Spanish too. And she's just like, oh yeah, we learned this math like 5 years ago.
Her mom's swearing at you in Spanish all the time.
Oh yeah. I was the one who always swore in Spanish. That way when the kids swore, I'm like, it's mom's fault, obviously. I
didn't teach them that.
I got all the tricks. Oh man, it's funny.
I just, I think, and I appreciate you bringing me on because you and I very rarely get to do one-on-ones. And it's always fun with you. But I mean, we're looking at, there's so many problems, right? And I keep quoting the American president, Michael Douglas, like we have serious problems and need serious people to deal with them.
Yeah.
We, for the last 10 years, have had the most unserious fucking people.
Yeah.
The most irresponsible individuals in our government making decisions. And this fucking clown wants another $1.5 trillion. Did anybody? I really suggest that everybody Google search the $1.5 trillion budget that the White House released and go look at everything that's being cut.
Grift. Yeah.
And look at not the grift. Look at everything that's being cut, because the shit that's being cut is the stuff I just wrote about in my last article that got published, which was only the $200 billion for the war, right?
Yeah.
But this $18 billion. Do you understand that this government, this administration, and I'm only going to talk from a healthcare perspective because it's really my wheelhouse, right? $18 billion from the NIH. 18, like I know we've talked about this, right? We talk about like how much is 18 billion?
Yeah, more than you can comprehend.
It's like we know how much $100 is, right? It's 100 ones. It's 10 tens, right? It's 5 20s. Okay, so 10,000 is 1,000 thousands.
Yeah.
Right? It's 1,000 thousands. Mm-hmm. All right. Now you start talking about how much is $1 million. It's 1,100 thousands.
no. A million is a thousand thousands.
The millions of thousands, right? So a billion
yeah.
is 1,000 millions.
Yeah, I mean, it's like,
I mean, we're talking 18 stacks of that shit, right?
Yeah.
And that's just I mean, like, we are spending money
Yeah.
in places that we don't, and the money they're asking for this military thing is 660% more than we could actually spend. The ask in the $200 billion that Heggie wanted, okay, that to be tippy top, right, is 1,100% more than what's needed to just pay for basic health care in this country for 1 year. And that covers the ACA, Medicaid, NIH, CDC, FDA. I mean, all this stuff is just insanely stupid governing.
Yeah. Well, all your suffering, all your economic hardship is a complete fabrication. It's not necessary. We do hard work. We deserve to get some of the reward for all the hard work we do. We shouldn't have to watch our kids, have insufficient food and insufficient education and all these things because we allow these just awful, irresponsible, unserious billionaires to just burn our hardworking, the profits of our labor.
You've heard me say it. They want us broke. They want us stupid.
Yeah.
And they want us sick.
Yeah.
Then they want us dead.
And obedient. They want us to subservient. And it's awful.
They need to just
well, that's a good segue because in a little bit I got to run off to go chat with Nick. I want to mention Sherry's book again just because I have it.
You have notes of the day.
Yeah. Buy Sherry's book. This is fantastic. I love her. She's brilliant. I just felt so privileged to talk to her last week, so it was good to have that chat with her last week.
I don't have a book here. I can't. I have textbooks. I don't have manuals and novels here. I have
textbooks. I just had one. I got Bob Dana's book too.
Textbooks.
There's Bob Dana's book too. He's great. And I lost him.
Do not buy this book. Do not buy this one.
Okay. Not a good read, huh? Yeah. Woo, compelling. Yeah.
Let's see here. Hold on. I have another bestseller.
Oh God!
Here's another bestseller.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah. I bet that one's fun.
This is like reading War and Peace, right?
Yeah. Oh. So again, Eric, thank you for interviewing Shelby. Thank you for doing that. It just makes me excited. Great. And get in touch with John Liccione.
Actually, Walter, one of the questions I asked her, and I wanted, this is what I want. I know you got to go, but I wanted to bring this up real quick with you because this is one of the questions I had asked her, which was really interesting. And I thought she had a pretty good, because her whole thing is like by the people for the people. And I'm like, that needs to be like on a t-shirt, right? But one of the questions I had asked her, it was earlier and I said, you've mentioned before, and I think you mentioned it with Walter, that the American dream has been sold as a success, but it's just capitalism. And I said, and I asked her, like, when did you first realize the system wasn't working for people in your district? And how are you going to get that message across to them that you're the candidate that can help fix that? And she had such an amazing answer. And she's like, well, having worked on the line, and seeing and like spending more time with my coworkers than my family.
Yeah. Yeah. She's going to take them by surprise too, because she's brilliant, but she's also just so fun. And I mean, it's just me being a million years old where I'm just like, oh man, but her energy was contagious and she's exactly the energy we need. We can vote in this whole generation of just these candidates of integrity and her legal background. She was a fighter though too.
And I think what we need to do is we need to find a balance. We need to find a balance between millennials and Gen X, because us as Gen X, Walter, we were the last generation before mass internet.
Yeah.
We grew up without the internet, right? We had to actually go diving into like Encyclopedia Britannicas and go to the library and go through the Dewey Decimal System, flip through the card decks to go find the way. And you go to the rack and realize
microfiche. You're like looking at
somebody else in the class had taken the book out.
Yeah.
And you're like, shit. Damn it. I need that fucking book, right? And so I think we need to find a balance here, because we have been overrepresented and overgoverned by a generation that has raped and pillaged the American people, period.
Yep.
And we've been waiting long enough. The Gen Xers have been waiting long enough to fix this shit. Gen Z's just now starting to get old enough to vote, but they can't serve.
Yeah.
They're not really at the 25-year-old range yet. Okay. But I think the people that we elect at Gen X need to be the people that kind of bring the stability to the process. Let Gen Y bring the emotion and the drive and the mission statements.
I think so, yeah.
And then I think that's how we're going to get a nice balance out of all this.
Yeah. Gen X figured out we're never going to get power. They're just never giving it to us. And it's our job to help the younger people. You guys take over.
We're kind of like the sandwich generation.
Yep. I'm fine with that. I'm going to be the accessory, the help generation. We're going to get those young people in power, and you're doing it with those interviews. So keep doing it.
I'm trying. I'm helping.
Hey, it helps every little bit. Every tiny little bit.
Like I said, I'm not the guy that's going to march in a protest, but I'll do it through the power that I have through media and through my followers and my subscribers and your followers and your subscribers and with the people that we've met with on here, people like Natasha who are born fighters and people like Ashley and Zev and Lev and Dean and
get all those guys to be doing this too. Those bigger platforms, if they're interviewing the progressives, they can do a lot more than I can.
And that's the thing. Like I called Lois Frankel's office and asked her to come on a Substack interview with me, and she declined. You know what? I'm like, and she's like, well, what are you going to talk about? And I said, well, I want to ask the Congresswoman why she's taking so much money from AIPAC. And why she's been doing it for a long time, just like Cory Booker.
Yep. Why are they hiding?
But you also have to understand this district that I live in, Florida 22, is a lot of 55 plus communities with an older population, older Jewish population, that still think that Israel is this greatest thing since sliced bread and da-da-da. And I'm like, it was up until the Netanyahu government took over. It was never really like this. And even with Barack's government, they were at least hiding the pedophilia. Right?
Yeah.
And he didn't do much of it until after he was out. So, but I think this is not the Israeli government that I grew up learning about, that I grew up supporting, that I would send trees to go plant trees in Israel and do the good stuff with. AIPAC growing up for me was a completely different organization than it is today, where it's interfering in politics and becoming more of a, becoming more of a political liability for candidates than it was the action committee that was saying, you need to be more supportive of Israel for our sustainability and our survival, but we're doing it the right way with peace process. And it's become a militant version of the IDF, but they're doing it. It's like the political arm of the IDF, really. So,
and we just got to start talking about it. We're taking back, and if the candidates who are seated or if the representatives won't talk to us, we'll talk to the progressives who will, and we'll get into the mainstream that way. So this is what we're for. Yeah,
everybody can participate. That's the best part about what we do, right?
Perfect.
Hey, listen, buddy, I'm going to miss our show Thursday, unfortunately, because I'll be in Charlotte. I'll be at my meeting. I got policy meetings and board meetings, and I showed you my schedule. It's insane. It's crazy. But
you're doing important work. So I
gotta make the donuts, right?
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll talk soon. We'll get these things going. Yeah, I gotta go roll. I gotta get organized.
Have a great show with Nick. Everybody, thanks for tuning in, and I appreciate Walter for bringing me on. And
thank you. Love to everybody. We'll see you.
Ciao.